Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Vinny's Corner. I'm back for another week with my boy, Grandpa Cove. What's up, brother? How are you?
Pretty good.
So, guys, as usual, I'm going to just go ahead and get this shared on the socials, make sure everybody knows what's going on. But this week, we've got the NHL trade deadline coming up, talking a little bit about how teams are doing now after the break, the Four Nations Cup, and, of course, after the NBA All-Star break. And then, I've always got some boxing stuff that I want to chop up with everybody. So we'll jump right into it. Let me just get this stuff shared. Boom, boom, boom. I don't think I need to put that there. Jones, yes. And boom. Where is this guy? Okay, it's right there. We are live. Boom. Send to group. Done and done. All right. So last weekend, obviously, you guys heard me talk a lot about it in recent weeks. One of the biggest fight weekends in recent memory. There were 6 belts on the line in different fights, of course. But the main attraction was the undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world. It was a rematch between Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. It did not disappoint. The whole card was amazing. For people that are boxing fans out there, we saw a not prepared Martin Bakole step in and take a fight against Joseph Parker. That was a pretty good one. Josh Padley, who's an unknown electrician but a pro boxer, had to step in on another fight for – why is your thumb on the screen? For the Shakur Stevenson fight because Floyd Schofield got sick. So a couple of guys got sick over that week, but the card turned out amazing. So just on a quick rundown, Carlos Adames retained his middleweight title in a draw against Shiraz. That fight was won by Carlos Adames. I love that guy. He is like the Dominican face of boxing. That's my dude. Shakur Stevenson won with a body shot in the 9th round. Joseph Parker floored Martin Bakole in the 2nd round, which was pretty sick. It was a grazing shot off like the crown of his head, but Bakole lost it, just collapsed. It was pretty crazy, actually. And then the main attraction, Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. It did not disappoint. It went 12 rounds like we expected. It was a close fight, but the adjustments were made by Bivol, and he was able to edge out Artur Beterbiev and win the undisputed belts. Now, the reason why I actually wanted to bring that up is because it looks like the WBC, the World Boxing Council, has just ordered Dmitry Bivol just days after the fight, where there should be a trilogy that might be on hold now because they've ordered him to fight his mandatory challenger, which is the wildly popular guy from Arizona. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Munstro, David Benavidez. So I know a lot of people want to see that, and it would be amazing for the sport to see Benavidez become undisputed at light heavyweight after being ducked for so long by Canelo. So, it's a really interesting storyline that just came up. I'll probably have an article about it in the next couple of days for those who are interested. And this weekend, we got Tank Davis back. Tank Davis knocks people out a lot and often. His last 4 opponents had a combined record of 71-0. He knocked all of them out. All good guys, including Ryan Garcia, who's fighting another one of the guys that he just dropped, Rolly Romero. So it's going to be a really cool card. There are some good guys on there. Rayo Valenzuela, he's fighting. That's going to be a good one. Alberto Puello is fighting. So it's a decent card. It's in Barclays Center in Brooklyn. But the main attraction, again, is Lamont Roach against Gervonta Tank Davis. So be there, be square, but definitely tune into that one. It should be a banger. And I expect somebody's going to get knocked out, I'll be honest. Both guys have been working real hard to put on extra muscle for this fight and kind of bulk out. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll find out. So, my man Cove, what's going on? Baseball's not really here yet, right? So
no. You can't count 2 to 3 games in the in the minor league. Like it's pretty much like minor league baseball right now.
Yo,
Everybody's
see,
trying to find the groove. Some guys are new. Like honestly, yeah, some guys are new, some guys are old, whatever. But it's only 2 or 3 games in. Like this is like preseason to me. It's like practice and like let's say Oakland. Oakland has like I say like 27 games they play in like the preseason or something like that. They can go like 25-2 and then be horrible. Like it can't happen.
so here is what I will throw out that's pretty important.
Yeah.
I just saw this. Where did Shohei Ohtani is going to be making his pitching debut against the Angels in March. So we're about 3 weeks away from seeing the return of Shohei Ohtani to the mound, which is a pretty cool storyline. You know, obviously everybody loves the guy. He got the most lucrative contract in baseball history, with the idea that he was both a massive threat on the mound as well as a massive hitter, right?
Yeah.
A modern
But I
day
mean,
Babe Ruth.
yeah. But I mean, your opinion of watching him, like and watching him in the last few years, like when he goes like dual, right? How is that going to affect his numbers? Like, I know he can long bomb it. We all know he can do it because he pitched and hit bombs. But how does it affect like another 50-50 season for him? Like if he pitches?
Okay, so I'm not sure how they utilize him. Like, is the game plan to make him like a set piece in the rotation? Is that what they're looking to do this season? If that's the move, I don't know that I don't see him being a 50-50 guy. It's definitely possible, but there's a lot of risk, in like, in simple things like base stealing, right? I don't know, bro. I mean, that's kind of tough. I'm excited to see him though.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, we're all excited to see like he did something we haven't seen. You and I, like, we're not that old, but we're not that young. We've never
yeah,
seen it.
we're right in the middle. It's a
Yeah,
fact.
we haven't seen anything like this, and I don't think anybody's ever seen anything like this. Like, not just Shohei, but like the game of baseball. Now, I've kind of over the wintertime, I've like tried to reevaluate the new way of gaming, like new way of the game. There's pros and cons to it. There is, but when you take the time to learn it, though.
Well, so like right here's my thing. They have like okay, if you never have him pitch this whole season, they still have enough starting
Oh yeah,
pitchers
yeah,
and good ones where
yeah.
they could have a full rotation without him.
I mean, didn't they pick up Snell? So it's like there's reason for that. Like,
Well, yeah. So what I would do if I was the Dodgers, I would kind of sprinkle him in here and there. I wouldn't make him a set rotation piece. Maybe like every few weeks he's on the mound as a starting pitcher, just to keep him loose and make sure he's got it, and have him prepared for the playoffs where he
yeah.
could be a big threat.
Well, I said last year, I was like, if he was gonna come back, I was like, I'd have him as a reliever / closer, like Summers run there, because I think they still need his bat though. His bat,
Absolutely.
he needs to be the all around player he is, and that's the thing about Shohei that like a lot of people do see with him, but like as my opinion here, is Shohei is just a phenomenal athlete all around. You've never seen a guy be able to do this consistently. I mean, Mike Trout, if Mike Trout could pitch, I think Mike Trout would be the American version of Shohei if he wasn't injured.
Yeah.
That kind of key caliber player. Like, that's why they got Trout. That's why they got Shohei originally, because they saw potential. Just Mike Trout just didn't stay healthy.
Makes total sense. Obviously,
It's the Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. I'd have to say it's like an experiment now because of the fact that it was only one season.
okay, so let me ask you a question. You just brought up a name. Obviously, I'm a Yankees fan, right?
Yes.
And I don't want to talk about Judge. Soto, right? So I was listening to a show this week, and they referred to Soto as, quote, the number one hitter in baseball today. Do you agree with that?
I mean, the kid has raw talent. Like the kid's good. I mean, he helped single-handedly with the other players that were good. And I'm not going to fault like the Nationals, but I took notice to him as a national. And I mean, if you can win Washington, you can win anywhere.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see why you would say that. That does make sense. I do
I
think
think
he's a
that's why he
top
got the money.
5 hitter,
So
but I don't know. Like, I don't know that I think he's the number 1 hitter. I don't know. It maybe I'm wrong, but to me, like he's one of the best. But I don't. Again, like I said, I don't know that he's the best. I guess it kind of
if
depends.
he's consistent like Vlad Guerrero. Vlad Guerrero was always he wasn't always the best hitter, but Vlad Guerrero was one of the most consistent hitters of all time.
So,
And I think
okay,
that's
here's
how
the
they
question.
value Soto.
Where do
Soto
you
is
put him
like
in the lineup for the
3-4.
Mets, right?
Yeah, he's a 3-4 hitter, like 3-4-5. You can be.
Right. Well, you got Lindor, right? You
Yeah.
got Alonso. I mean, they've got some pieces,
Yeah.
right?
You just got to figure out how you can sit him in there. Like you have Nemo too. You have like the Mets have a solid lineup, so
They
it's
do.
like adding Soto is the piece that they needed. I mean, like honestly, if the Mets had Soto last year, it would have the Mets would have played the Yankees.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
So you think, and like, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just jaded, but you think that right now, you think that the Mets beat the Dodgers this year? You think
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the Dodgers are going to run it back.
The Dodgers can run it back, and they will. They will if they don't have injuries. But if the Dodgers get injured like they have, and then, I mean they have a lot of aging players. Like,
But look, last year they weren't all healthy.
Oh, I know.
They cooked.
But yeah, they cooked. But that's because they had talents all over the place. That's the thing. And some of those guys are key players. Like as Yankees, I was trying to say it earlier. It just there wasn't anything official. But like if the Yankees could steal Kiki Hernandez, like
that's not happening. It would be
great. It almost did though. I swear to God, like Kiki's still available, as far as I'm concerned.
There were talks about what's this guy's name, Arenado, possibly getting picked up by the Yanks.
Yeah.
And he drove because the facility he had to drive like 3.5 hours to play today, and he went 0-for-3 with like 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, but he's
not a good impression.
No, but he's in St. Louis. That's why.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens.
Like if you can remember back years ago, right? Arrieta and DJ LeMahieu were like 2 of the best guys like in the league at the same time. Like just head to head, their bats were on fire. So the Yankees got DJ, and they probably were trying to get Nolan. But I always said, I'm like, I would have taken Nolan over DJ any day when they were trying to make that trade.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? When they were getting LeMahieu, like, I mean, the guy's got some really impressive stats as a fielder. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's very good, but he has not, he hasn't been healthy. He definitely is not what they paid for.
A lot of the Yankee fans out there are like they do not like DJ anymore. DJ was good years ago, but now he's I mean, defensively he's still there. It's just offensively he's not.
What is he, like 35 now? Like he's not that young.
Oh no, he's getting up there. DJ's getting up there. I mean, like he's gonna age out in a few years. That's why I said like this year's gonna be different because a lot of the guys that we grew up with the last few years are all aging out.
Well, it's a new game, We get older, they get older, right?
And that's why I said about learning like the new rules, because you got to realize, like for fans out there, some of them are going to realize like the game is going to change because the youth that's in there now all know the new age baseball. I mean, eventually we're going to age out. I mean, look at us. We're in our 40s, so all the guys that we grew up watching the last 20 years all pretty much have aged out.
Listen, I've seen generations of athletes in sports already, and I'm gonna keep. It's not like I'm still gonna watch. Like,
No, you're still gonna watch. But I'm saying the guys that we spent most of our life being a sports fan have aged out. We've learned to like new players in the time and generations, yeah. But a lot of the greats of the game, like because we're talking hockey, baseball, all that stuff, like in the last 20 years, a lot of them aged out now. Now it's the new generation greats.
I feel like hockey player. It's weird. Hockey players, like, except for like the greats, hockey players age out faster.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's a rough sport.
Is a rougher sport in general because you're on skates and you are getting hit way more often.
Like Ovechkin's played for like 3 generations of hockey players.
Yeah. But look at it right now. We were talking about it earlier before we were live. Ovechkin's like what 12, 13 goals away from Gretzky's record, a record we never thought be touched. And this guy broke his femur, and he's still trying to break it this year.
It's actually pretty insane. Like, I would be surprised in the way that he's playing. I would be surprised at this point if he was not able to do it.
Oh my god. I'll talk about it now in this way. If we find out Ovechkin's on something to do this, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I don't need to know. It's not my business.
No, but I don't want to find out that he can only do it on something like some to go back to baseball, like Roger Clemens. Like Roger Clemens, like he was a Rocket for a reason, and then all of a sudden we heard about drugs and like the steroids and stuff like that, and it's like, it hurts the image.
I personally, like, people out there that are listening, they can always chime in. Obviously, you can hit the comments if you're on Facebook, X, or on YouTube. I think that the steroid era players of baseball, like the ones that really like hit those numbers, I think they should be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I don't care. Like that's me. But
like the shit that McGuire, Kazenko.
But let's be honest.
There's a laundry list of players that we grew up watching when we were kids, that were all in the steroid. I mean, Sammy Sosa hit 60 home runs 3 years running and didn't win a single title.
Bro, well, okay, so think about the things that happened in baseball in the mid-90s, right?
Yeah.
Realistically, those guys put butts in the seats. Oh, they made people tune in. Like, a part of me wants to just go out and say it. Like, they low-key saved baseball at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I think a lot of people discount that. Yeah. Honestly, my opinion is that they should just let it go. But I know a lot of people don't agree with that.
Well, it's the same thing as, okay, what is your feel about Cincinnati actually putting, Pete Rose? Did they put Pete Rose on their jerseys this year because he died?
Pete Rose, okay, if anyone in any sport ever should be in the Hall of Fame, it's Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Like,
but,
I don't,
But I mean, what I mean is, like, they're honoring Pete Rose. Fair. I mean, what he did for that franchise and everything.
It's about time somebody honored Pete Rose.
I know, but here's the thing about it. It's like the man wasn't even allowed on the field or in the clubhouse at all. Like, he was not respected. And why? Why also now, because he died, that we have to actually, like, honor him now? Like, I love that they are honoring him, but why did it take like 3 decades?
I mean, listen, I think it's ridiculous. And if you have been on the socials, and you have, more often than not, when that question gets asked, I see way more people saying he should be in the Hall of Fame than people saying he shouldn't.
He did not cheat as a player. That's a known fact. He never cheated the game in that way. Betting as a coach, okay, I get it. I mean, he was honest about it. It's fair. I mean, the amount of crap that they did in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s in pro leagues that they turned a blind eye at. And Pete Rose, because he bet on some games, not even like throwing games, he just bet on the game itself.
Listen, if you look at the culture of sports betting in the United States in 2025, you'd have to be kidding me if you don't believe that more than one of these players in every league, has some kind of side thing going on. Like, as much as they want to try and police it or whatever else, like, guys are making money off the books. No question about it. And for that to be the case, and people know it's the case, like, I don't know, man. Just let the guy in. That's my feeling on it. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I think it's a disgrace that he's not, to be honest. But, Cole, you got the lotion in the background there.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Hey, it's her room. You can even hear her laughing about that.
Listen, man, I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to judge.
No. I did not know it was behind me. I did not know the lotion was behind me. Like, for real. That is such a random thing.
So listen, for folks that were paying attention, right? We were talking a little bit about the NHL. Baseball doesn't have too much going on. That's of concern at the moment. Just a quick update. The Winnipeg Jets did win 4-1 against Ottawa. The Avalanche are hosting the New Jersey Devils right now. That game just kicked off like 5 or 6 minutes ago. Game is still at 0-0. And the Canucks and the LA Kings will be starting in about 5 or 10 minutes. So there's that. Obviously, we were talking a little bit about Ovechkin and possibly hitting that record this year. He's got 24 games, I believe, to make 12 goals. This past weekend, he had a hat trick. It's very possible that he's going to hit that record. That's awesome. I'm pretty excited about it. So NHL this season, like, what's going on right now? I think like that's really like.
I think that's the focus right now in general because Ovechkin's doing something. But I mean, Winnipeg is just killing right now. Washington's killing right now. There's like a lot of teams that are starting to show up like that you haven't seen in years. Minnesota, like, was it Marc-Andre Fleury? This is his last year after 20 years.
So if we were to look at it today, right, the Atlantic would have the Maple Leafs, or the East would have the Maple Leafs, the Panthers, the Lightning, the Capitals, the Canes, and the Devils. Wild cards. The wild cards today are the Red Wings and the Blue Jackets. So the Rangers have fallen so far, they're not even a wild card at this point. That to me, that's one of the bigger stories this year. And then in the West is exactly what I think most people kind of knew it was going to be. Like we talked about in November, December, the Jets, the Stars, the Wild, the Knights, the Oilers, the Kings, the Avs, and the Flames rounded out as the wild cards. Now, obviously, none of this stuff's set in stone yet, and the Avalanche are in pretty good position to potentially move up and jump the Kings in that Pacific Division. In that Central Division, they would potentially be able to jump the Wild. It looks like I kind of expected in the West, but the East looks very different. If I had to give my guess today, I think that, I want to say the Knights, but I really think it's going to be the Stars against the Caps for the finals. I don't know. Who do you think? I mean, based on what I was just reading off.
I mean, I do see the Capitals, but I still have a lot of trust in Florida. Florida is a nasty playoff team.
They've got a lot of really good players.
I think a lot of people are counting them out at the moment because Kachuk's a little hurt.
Yeah. I mean, listen, they're in the second position, right, in the Atlantic. It's not like they're not going to be there. It's just a matter of what shows up, how healthy they are.
I'm not
But
going to trust the Maple Leafs at number one, like, or number two. Like, I'm sorry. I might get a lot of Leaf haters, but I still don't see the Leafs being a playoff potential team. They have to lose somebody because I think with the way the Leafs are right now, they have too much talent, and I think that's hurting them. So,
here's what I think. I think that even if the Leafs made it out of the Atlantic,
oh yeah,
I don't think they would make it out of the East because they would have to go against the Caps. I think the Capital, like I said,
the Capitals have them. The Leafs have. I mean, the Leafs can't play well against the Capitals. If they get the Bruins, that's an Achilles heel for them is the Bruins, and the Panthers. I'm sorry, but the Panthers are going to destroy them in the playoffs.
and then you've got the Lightning and like I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean no offense to any other team that's in the playoffs right now, but I'm just saying the Leafs tend to get the Bruins. They tend to get like a team that they cannot get across. They're first round busts for a reason. If you look at the last 30 years, they've been more first round busts than probably anything else.
you know, listen, you never know. Like having like I mean, as they say, a generational talent in goal like Vasilevsky on the Lightning, and then players like Kucherov. That's another team you can't count out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's a tough one.
It is tough, but that Lightning team is just like the Chiefs. Like they flamed out though. They only got 3 good years, but because you've seen it, like Detroit, the Red Wings, like they won like 5 cups, but over like a 10-year span. But and like the Avalanche won 2 or 3. People think Dallas won a lot, but they only really won 1. Like Jersey had like 2 or 3 in a decade. I mean, we haven't seen teams. Pittsburgh also has done it, but 2 or 3 playoffs runs and like final runs. Like Florida's done it. So like we don't see a lot of three-peats. So like Tampa, they played 3 years in a row in the finals or something like that. 3 of the 4 years in finals, and they were a decent team, but eventually they get figured out. Vasilevsky is just a big bastard. He's 6'5", 240. Like
he's massive for a goalie.
Yeah,
He's massive.
He's a big Russian. Like if you have read it before, if you go back 2 or 3 years, at least 2 or 3 years, Vasilevsky used to get nailed for his pads being too large. He had them way too large, like just like a few inches. But because of the size, it became something that people complained about him, that why he was so good. So they regulated
like he's blocking the whole goal.
They regulated his pads a little smaller, and now then the Lightning they went down. So it's like, did he really win because he had bigger pads or because it was his skill? I mean,
maybe he's just getting older.
He's not too much older because we're only talking about 3 or 4 years ago. So it's like Vasilevsky's numbers are still kind of up there, but I think Tampa's lost a lot of talent too.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So they had Detroit, Pittsburgh, name a few teams that were like that, where they had like 5 or 6 years where they had guys that would just clicked. And then how many runs did they have in the playoffs? Both those franchises, like you look at, because Pittsburgh was like 08, 09, then like 15, 16, 17, they were like running for playoffs like crazy. So like Pittsburgh wasn't bad not even 10 years ago. So I mean, it can happen again. Detroit did it late 2000s, then later 2010s. By then Pittsburgh could be resurging again in the next few years. Like certain teams can resurge back to a great team. Like I would love to see a good Dallas team again. I would love to see a good Pittsburgh team again. LA. I mean, nothing is Vegas because I mean Vegas has been solid since like 2018.
Dallas is a good team right now.
No. I mean, I talk about like seeing them in the finals, though. Trying to see Dallas in the finals.
Listen, I think that they've definitely got the team to do it. So personally, like I said, I think that they're going to be the team that comes out of the West. I would love to see I'm wearing the VGK shirt. I would love to see the Golden Knights. I don't know what we're going to get from them. I mean, they just haven't looked that hot in the new year. I thought it was a January thing, but then we went into February and it was still up and down, up and down. So, we'll see how these last 2 months really play out.
Mm-hmm.
I know they'll be there, but I'm not sure where it's going from there.
Trades can affect things. Not just like not for Vegas or Dallas, but I mean the trades could affect certain teams that they're playing, and it could change the way the outcome comes for this end of the season.
Okay, well, I'm glad you brought that up, right? So, kind of last question in the NHL side of things. So the trade deadline is in less than 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any moves that you see like happening, or are there any moves that you think need to happen for like the top couple of teams to really like put them over the edge?
From what I've seen so far, teams are pretty average. If we talk about like the Atlantic and the Eastern Conference, they got a lot of strong teams they're all average. They're only like a game or two out from each other. Like that's why, like these small seasons we had before during a strikeout or a smaller season, COVID, we saw a different outcome of hockey because in this amount of games that we played so far, everybody much is pretty equal. We need the full 82 to kind of gauge how well one team is against another. I mean, it doesn't mean like look at history. It's repeated itself. Like teams that win like 60, 70, like not even like when they get up to the 60s to 70 range of like trying to get wins, which one of them has went on to win the cup?
Listen, I'm going to be honest. We may only have one team that goes past 60 wins this season, the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah. In history, though, when teams have won 60 wins, have they went on to win the cup?
In general, no. Listen, well,
so that kind of faults Winnipeg. Like Winnipeg, do you really chase after that many wins? Like does it really help you? Because every team has faltered. They've been a first round bust, winning 60 plus win games, and then faulting in the playoffs like right away. Like you're looking at your 40, 50 win teams that have done better.
Here's what's interesting about them, right? They've lost in overtime 3 times this season already, right? And they only have 14 losses. So, almost a quarter of their losses come in overtime. When we get to the Stanley Cup playoffs, I expect to see a lot of overtime hockey. So the Winnipeg Jets may end up falling off just on that alone. But I don't really know that there's any moves they can make to make the team better.
That's the thing about Winnipeg. Why would you fuck with that right now? With the amount of wins and losses they have, I mean, this only tells me one thing. In a general sense, like he hasn't talked about retirement, but he's getting up there in their age with their goaltender, with like Connor, right? Connor Hellebuyck, like he wants to win one, so he's playing his heart out. Like when Fleury's done it, when Waugh's done it, when Berger's done it, Hasek's done it. When these goalies want to win a championship, they play a different level game. Like even when Jonathan Quick, he helped LA win. Corey Crawford helped win when like you never expected this guy to pull it up. Jordan, and you were just talking about him the other day, Jordan Binnington. Jordan Binnington has actually won a fucking Stanley Cup with St. Louis. I mean,
and he's kind of been down for a while, but then in that Four Nations Cup, he showed up.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like when he can win or when he wants to win, whenever that is, like whenever he gets surrounded by guys who want to win, maybe whatever mentality. We're not in that locker room to be able to tell what kind of mentality it is. But all these different goalies, man, they all like when they show up, and they do show up, it's a different level for them, and that's the guy who wins it all, right? Like one of the greatest ones I've watched in the last 10, 15 years, outside of Red Wings, the team I always grew up watching and loving. Like Chris Osgood was great. A lot of people hated him, but I love Osgood.
Well, I mean, and he had Vernon also. And then
Yeah, but he also had so many other guys too. Like he had Vernon for the backs. Yeah, I mean, Vernon came from Calgary. Like that's what I mean. Like Calgary had Mike Vernon, but they gave him up to Detroit, and he wins back to back, and they got the 62 year. Like the first time the team had 60 wins.
Listen, for me, honestly, like I'm not sure. Like I don't know. Just looking at these teams, I feel like the teams at this point that would benefit the most from any kind of trade deadline moves and I don't know what the move would be, but like a team like the Avalanche, right? A team who's on the bubble, but who's like good enough, like. Otherwise, like when you look right, when you see them play well, you're like, wow, this is a really good hockey team. I don't know what the move would be, what could spark something in the Rangers, but the Rangers still have an opportunity to get in the playoffs. Is there a move they could make? They're on the bubble right now. They're
on the bubble, but Rangers got to stop moving people. That's the thing with them. Montreal, Rangers, there's lots of teams that got to stop moving guys and just trust the process.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so, there's that about the NHL. Now, of course, it is that time of year in NBA, right? They say that after the All-Star break is when real basketball starts getting played. Now, as a Knicks fan, I'm going to just say that has me extremely concerned because – as we've seen all season, and we saw in the first two games out of the All-Star break against the Cavs and the Celtics, that the Knicks just do not win against top-tier teams, not when they need to. No. So I'm pretty concerned with that. We did get a W tonight against the 76ers, but the 76ers really took it to the wire. So just kind of a quick update for those folks that have missed any games today. The Pacers cooked the Raptors 111-91. Actually, this is an interesting one. The Celtics lost by 20 points to the Pistons. That's a pretty interesting one. So Beasley had 26 points for the Pistons, which is pretty awesome. I like to see them win. They're kind of a fun team. And the Trailblazers, they beat the Wizards, as they should. I would like to see the Trailblazers make the playoffs. I don't know how that's going to happen or how that would work. And then this one I actually like because I don't like either of these teams, but one of them I really dislike. So the Hawks lost 109-131 to the Heat. Harrow had 24 points, 10 assists. So he had a really good double-double tonight, which is pretty awesome. If there's anybody out there that's a basketball fan, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, folks. What do you guys think right now? I know the Cavs look like they might be the best team, but I still really think that in the East, and obviously the Celtics just won last year, I think the Celtics are primed to make a run, and they're looking decent outside of tonight, I guess. So it's kind of a weird one for me to say after they just got worked over by the Pistons. But I put this on my socials today. I would think, like, for basketball, I think this would be good. If the Celtics, if my Knicks, of course, are not going to go to the finals. And right now, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case because we're just not really, we don't have the depth, right? And we're not playing defense. I mean, we played a game against the Hawks a couple of weeks ago. It was like a 300-point game, which is crazy in basketball. So I would love to see this Luka trade pan out for the Lakers in season one and maybe see the Lakers against the Celtics. I think that would be huge for basketball. I think a lot more people than want to admit it would tune in for that finals, and I could definitely see it happening. It might be LeBron's last also.
It should be LeBron's last. Like, I've seen guys even rip LeBron like saying, dude,
LeBron is good, bro.
I know he's good, but like, dude, you don't need to play anymore. You don't. He's in a league of his own now. Like, that's things. No one's gonna do what he's gonna do in 20 years. No one's gonna hit the points he's getting in 20 years. We're not gonna see it. Like,
here's what I really like. For me, at least, what I really like. I was always a LeBron hater. career-wise. I was just never into the guy. I'm an MJ generation, whatever else. But I just was never big on him. Now that he's older, I have such a different level of respect because we're like the same age. We're like months apart in age. So, like, I have such a different level of respect for what he's doing because, like, I know what a physical toll that is on a 40-plus-year-old man. But
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why, I love Brady, and I like Brady when it's in, and there's Manning, and I was always a Manning fan. Once Manning went out, I kind of did appreciate what longevity Brady was showing and doing.
that's what I'm saying. Like, the longevity thing is kind of hit a different way now that I'm older. But more than just that, LeBron James is a billionaire now.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so a billionaire showing up every night and putting up double-doubles, triple-doubles, 20-plus points a game. Like, he doesn't have to do any of this. You know what I mean? And so I just, like, I've gained a new level of respect for LeBron this season. And I think it would be pretty awesome for him to go to the finals. I would like, this would, like, in an ideal world for me, the Lakers would go to the finals. They beat the Celtics because then the Celtics would lose. And as a New Yorker, I would love that. And LeBron could go out on a high horse, and retire that way. That would be dope. I think that would be an amazing kind of like storybook ending to the sport. It would put him right there with Brady going out like that. So I think it would be really cool.
I mean, like, it would be great. Like, I don't know. I think he wants Bronny to win one with him, but I'm like, sorry, that's not gonna happen.
Well, if they won this season, that would happen. Bronny is a Laker now.
Yes, Bronny's a Laker, but like, I can't see it happening. It'd be great. I mean, that'd be an epic. Like,
dude would hit 1 3-pointer in the whole series, and he would never forget it. So I think it would be pretty awesome.
More comfortable now.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm not going to count my Knicks out yet because I think that would be crazy. It's too early. There's still some basketball to be played, but
did I lose your voice?
What'd you say?
I don't hear it in your mic.
You don't hear anything on my mic? Well, I haven't hit anything, so it couldn't be my side. Hold on, it shows that you're on mute. It shows that your mic is muted.
Now it is, because I was like, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, it showed that your mic was muted for some reason. So I'm looking, I'm like, what happened?
Giving you hints that your mic may be muted.
No. It showed me that your mic was muted.
No, I know I did that, but I couldn't hear you. That's why I hit the mic button. And then y'all
shitty headphones.
Oh.
So listen, I know you're not like a huge basketball guy, but he said no. And that's totally fine because
I mean,
it kind of takes
I watched when Jordan played, like a Jordan era, and then I just kind of fell out. Like the same thing you were about to say. Like, I didn't like LeBron in the beginning, but I do respect him now as a player of his age and longevity. But I'm just saying, I don't see the point on why he's still playing. He's got everything. He's in a league of his own. Every points, assists, longevity, all-star games. Like,
I think every professional athlete over the age of 40 should retire. But at the same time, like, I have a certain level of respect for what I'm seeing because it would be one thing if he wasn't playing well, but he's been playing great. And he's been playing really well with Luka on the team too. And I know a lot of people were concerned that, two play creators like the two of them, they might not be able to mesh well. And I feel like we've seen, at least in their last couple of games, I feel like we've seen the exact opposite. Against the Met, Luka he only scored 19 points, but if you saw the offense that he created for other players, the no-look pass to Reeves for the 3-pointer, he had a triple-double on the evening. LeBron had a double-double. I mean, They looked awesome together. They just knocked off the Nuggets. So, it's been pretty exciting to watch, and that's what happens, or what's supposed to happen with these trades. They're supposed to make things get more exciting and more competitive. So, I have no problem with it. I've enjoyed it so far. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I am pretty excited to see it. Now, here's where I want it to go, because obviously, we still have plenty of basketball to talk about. Now, I know that the football season is over, but, right, there have been a lot of rumors swirling recently, and I wanted to kind of get your opinion on it. So people are talking about Stafford potentially leaving LA.
Yeah.
Yo, you look like you're about to fall asleep, dude. But, right, so, Stafford leaving LA becomes this big thing in the media. A lot of people have been talking about it this evening. Let me see if I can find this guy's name. But one of the guards from LA actually requested to be traded. So that's a pretty big thing right there. Now, is he maybe getting nervous? Oh, there it is, Jackson. That's who it is. Rams allowing Jackson to find a trade, according to sources. To me, that's pretty crazy, right? They just signed this guy to a 3-year, $51 million contract. He only played in 4 games. He's still due $8.5 million on March 14th. But he wants out. Now, I don't know. Maybe it's got something to do with coaching or something else. But when you're hearing that the quarterback, like this elite level quarterback, may not get the deal he wants and may end up in a New York on the Giants or Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh should be going after him, with everything they've got. Because,
we'll see what happens. But isn't Shedeur supposed to go to New York? That's the rumor.
Well, so right now, basically, until something happens, until Stafford signs with a team, he's the first domino to fall, I feel like, right? There aren't going to be any other moves that we're going to see.
I don't see Shedeur going to if you guys can get, because you're a Giants fan, if you guys can get Stafford, you guys won't go after Shedeur.
Well, if we were to get Matt Stafford, I think that the idea or the goal is then to go after a Travis Hunter. It's not to go after a quarterback.
Yeah. That's so, you got Cam Ward. I don't know where he's going to go. He's a top 5, in my opinion. He'll be a top 5 for sure. Somebody in the top 5 needs it.
He might be the number 1 pick. I think the number 1 pick should be Carter, not a quarterback. But I don't know anything about football.
No, that's what I mean. I'm saying Cam Ward could be 2nd or 3rd pick, but he's a top 5.
Yeah, for sure. I don't really know. Listen, I don't really know which way it goes, but the way that I feel about it, and obviously I'm a Giants fan, so I would not be upset if we got Stafford because he's good. But he's also 37 years old.
Yeah.
So I don't really know.
You guys ran with Daniel Jones last year, so you guys. We
ran with Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah.
Drew Lock, and for half a season, Danny Jones.
Yeah.
So obviously, pretty much anything is an upgrade for the Giants. There's no question about that, right? Anything is pretty much an upgrade.
Go get Jameis Winston.
But to me, the most logical thing, if I'm the Steelers, I go out and I try and get Stafford, right? They need a quarterback more than anything. And right, they were able, with Russell Wilson, they were able to get to the first round of the playoffs where they then got embarrassed. Mike Tomlin will get you pretty much right there, but having a quarterback that's, pretty much at an elite level, a Super Bowl winning quarterback who really, they almost beat the Eagles in Philly in the snow, so getting a guy like Stafford could really make the difference for a team like Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Pittsburgh could be way more perennial threat.
What'd you say?
You said about Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pittsburgh could be more perennial threat if they get a solid quarterback.
and which is why I think they should go after Stafford.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you could get Stafford, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they always go after big guys like that. Like, well, they got Ben before, like I'm young, but I mean, Pittsburgh has a builder quarterback because that's what Bradshaw and Big Ben, like those two guys alone, were built for Pittsburgh and they were made for Pittsburgh. That's what's going to work for Pittsburgh. You can't keep getting somebody else's rental.
Listen, I'm not going to argue. Are you on the phone? I could hear my wife talking in the other room, and she just popped out. I was like, "What's going on?"
Oh.
Like, I don't know what's going on right now. But usually she's quiet as can be at this time of night. My daughter is staring at me right now. Hey, baby. Hi, Daddy. So listen, I'm not too sure about things in the NFL yet, but there are a couple of things that are interesting. Like I said, the Stafford thing was one of them. What's this guy's name? Andrew Berry, the GM for the Browns, said that they will not trade Myles Garrett. And like, to me, I don't know, man. Myles Garrett, like, he needs to get out of that team. I think that it's a pretty scary. Here's how I feel about it. The fact that he was willing to put pen to paper and really like say thank you to fans and to express his desire to be traded, I feel like he's at a point where he will sit out and not play if he can't get his trade done.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, he's rightly so. How many got like what? We're 25 years of like pretty much Browns football, of a new generation of Browns football. And you've had like 29 quarterbacks.
The Browns are and so the people are saying that the Browns might look at because of how much they're still going to be spending on Deshaun Watson this season, they might go after a Kirk Cousins kind of option, because Kirk Cousins, I think it's a terrible decision personally, but Kirk Cousins, they could bring him in for basically league minimum because Atlanta is going to be picking up that expensive tab on him because of that ridiculous contract that he gave up. Or he got. So I don't really know, man. It's kind of a tough one to say, but I'm excited to see where the NFL goes. You know, a lot of the guys in the group chats that we talk to, a lot of guys have sports shows and a lot of them talk football. So, you know, I'll be tuning into a lot of those guys just to kind of see what their thoughts are. Tip's got a lot of good stuff, and he talks more on the fantasy side of things, but the man knows football, so I'll be interested to listen in. I know he does that show on Sirius now too, which is pretty awesome. So we'll see what happens though. I'm not too sure about this season. All I know is that Aaron Rodgers should retire. Somebody should pay Matt Stafford more than $50 million a year because he's ready to win again. And I don't know where my Giants are going. That much I know. Mel Kiper. Okay, so everyone knows who Mel Kiper is on ESPN. Mel Kiper just came out and said that he thinks that the Jets are going to trade up. This is his latest mock draft idea, was that the Jets are going to trade up and get Shedeur Sanders. That would be different. I don't mind. Listen, they have a lot of really good pieces. It actually wouldn't be a bad move. Now, I'm obviously a Giants fan, so I wouldn't love that. But I think that would be great.
If you don't get Stafford, right? If you don't get Stafford, you have to go with the Shedeur. But I mean, you might be able to get Cam Ward before if you trade up, or maybe not. But I don't know, because Tennessee needs a quarterback too, right? So I mean,
I would rather, and maybe this is just me, but because of I haven't seen that much about Cam Ward as a person in the media. But the whole energy, the kind of person that Shedeur Sanders is, that's the kind of guy I would want in my locker room.
Yeah.
So with me, I would draft Shedeur.
Prime time is teaching him how to be. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Deion. Deion was like a player. He got swagger. He was able to do everything on and off the field. So,
but Shedeur's not like that.
No. But what I'm saying is Deion is a good role model, right? So he'd be
absolutely.
Able to teach his kids how to be proper and be good at the game and blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, I have nothing against it, but I think a lot of the limelight will be because it's Deion's son.
I'm not saying that, listen, here's the reality of it. If he was drafted last year, if he was drafted in a lot of drafts in the last 5 to 10 years, he wouldn't even be top 5. He's really like a 14th or 15th draft pick.
Yeah.
But if you're going to draft him or Cam Ward in the top 5, to me, I would go Shador just because I don't know. I like his vibe. I do think he's going to be successful. I'm not going to say he'll be his dad at quarterback. I don't know that he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but I do think that he's a solid guy, and I think that he's going to play solid. Yo, Cove, you look like you're – what time is it? Is it like midnight where you are in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean?
Yeah, almost.
All right. Well, listen, it's about 7:30 almost. That's usually when we kick things over here. So I'll let you go. I'm going to go spend some time with my daughter. Guys, thanks for listening as always. Next week on Vinny's Corner, we will be recapping the Tank Davis fight to kick it off, and then we'll be going from there. So hopefully there will be some interesting stuff with the NHL trade deadline, and we'll see a little bit more about where people like Luka and LeBron have kind of gelled over another week. And, we'll have some things to talk about. So let's see what happens. Oh, and next week, right? So March 1st is Saturday. Teams have until next Monday to put the franchise tag on, right? So we may see some things happen. We may see T. Higgins get tagged. We may see Sam Darnold get tagged. I'm not too sure yet, but definitely tune in next week because we'll be talking about the NFL as well. And we will be talking a little bit about things that have happened with regard to franchise tags. The NFL Combine is this weekend. So there's a lot to be discussed. And my guy Cove is going to have a 5-hour energy drink. So we'll be ready to rock and roll. But guys, as always, thank you for tuning in to Vinny's Corner. Cove, always a pleasure. Girlfriend that's next to him, hi. Guys, have a good night. Thanks for Vinny's Corner. And the stream won't